And so, Pete Alonso, it's been pretty quiet out there when it comes to Pete Alonso. Where do things stand with Pete and the Mets, and how are they going to progress here, Andy?
Well, look, where the Mets stand on Alonso is that they appreciate what he does, what he brings, who he is. They like him, and that's where they stand on him. In terms of where they or other teams stand on signing him, it hasn't even hardly begun yet. I mean, this is going to only get going after Juan Soto chooses a team. I will say this, though. I think this is going to take a long time, wherever he signs, because there's a perceived expectation. Maybe this isn't fair to Alonso or Boris. I don't know what's actually in their heads and hearts in terms of their expectation, but considering he turned down $158 million last year, I wouldn't say there's a lot of people in the industry that believe he's going to hit that number in free agency. So the question becomes, like, at what point will he be willing to sign with a team? What will a team be willing to offer? I think this is going to take a long time to resolve wherever he goes.
If he does not end up here, Will, what about alternatives? Have you heard names?
Yeah, I think that the Mets will continue to have dialogue with Pete Alonso throughout the entire offseason, and I wouldn't be surprised, of course, if he returned to the Mets, of course, to be their first baseman for a few more years. But if something happens where they're not able to come to a deal, or Pete Alonso just prefers to go somewhere else for whatever reason, David Stearns is not going to just not be prepared for that moment, right? So I believe he's checked in on guys like Christian Walker. That could be a name that comes up to mind, and he's going to be prepared for that. Like, he's going to have a plan in place where if the unexpected happens, he's not going to be surprised or be caught off guard by it. So Christian Walker is a name to kind of keep in mind as a guy that I wouldn't be surprised if they checked in on him already.
I could see that as a fit for sure. But I think the other option would be moving Vientos. I think we've talked about that before, moving him to first base. Look, he's been better than we thought he'd be at third base, but I still don't think he's necessarily the long-term answer defensively at third. We know he can hit. He's going to play first or DH somewhere. So, and then you have Mauricio. We don't know if he's going to be the third baseman or if, then I know you spoke about Adames before, maybe fitting better at short, but he could fill that third base hole for the Mets.
What about the fact that Vientos' arm is his best tool, though, and you waste that if you move him across the diamond?
Yeah, but still, you're just putting him in a position where he's not going to hurt you as much defensively in terms of range and things like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, have they given up on potentially seeing Brett Beatty 10 seconds in that role?
I don't think they've given up on it, but Vientos has really solidified himself as a third baseman, and he's so young at this point that I'd be reluctant to move him off at third base, because then all of a sudden you shoehorn him into a first base role forever.